president's budget is supposed to be submitted to the Congress on the first Monday in February. The new president takes office on January 20th. So the new president doesn't really, between January 20th and the first Monday in February, figure out what it is that they want to do with the budget. So what tends to happen, and what's happening this year, those of you who know OMB can tell me if I'm wrong, but this is sort of what I've heard, is that there's basically a current services budget that's being prepared. And a current services budget just means we're going to cost out the effect of continuing to do what we're already doing, but we're not putting major policy proposals in there because we're not going to be in office. So what's going to need to happen is that when the new president takes office, and this is a very typical kind of thing that occurs, when the new president takes office, the new president looks at that current services budget and then says, how do I want to change that? And within a couple months of taking office, they send a series of amendments up to the Hill, and they say, here are the policy changes that we want to make. And that's the point at which campaign promises are going to run hard into fiscal reality. So you may have had a lot of things that are promised in the campaign, and then when they start to sort of run the numbers after having been elected, they'll see that maybe all those things don't fit. And those constraints are both because of things that they've inherited, like the wars, and also an uncertain economy. We don't really know, where things are going in terms of the economy if we're in a recession, which I certainly, and I'm not saying that we are, of course, but it sort of looks like one. You have to give it the duck test after a while. If it walks like a duck and talks like a duck, it's a duck. So it sort of looks like and acts like a recession if it isn't a recession, and that will cause problems as well. So the new president's going to come in and is going to express shock at these developments, using words like, I had no idea. I was misled by my advisors. The dog ate my campaign promises. Any number of things that might be said after the new president takes office. And this has happened in the past. When Bill Clinton was elected in 1992, there were revisions of the budget outlook that came out soon after or while he was running for president. He just sort of chose to ignore those because they didn't really fit with all the things that he was promising to do. And then when he was elected president, when he was faced with a set of new numbers, which by the way were just the old numbers that he had ignored while he was running for president, he said, oh, I didn't know. And it seems like I'm not going to be able to do everything that I thought I was going to do. So these guys should be well aware now that they can't afford to do all the things that they're promising to do. Then we have the appropriations process. Again, remember, appropriations are chronically late. I think the highest probability this year is that the Congress will pass at least a 6-month omnibus continuing resolution, which means that instead of passing all the appropriation bills prior to October 1st, what they will do is they will say, we're going to pass a continuing resolution and then get out of town. And that continuing resolution is going to go all the way until sometime after the first of the year. If I were going to guess, I'd say into March or April, because if I'm the Democrats and I'm in control of the Congress and I think that President Obama may be president, what incentive do I have to produce the appropriation bills right now, send them up to President Bush just to let President Bush veto those bills? I'd be much better off just pushing the whole process forward until President Obama is president and let him deal with the fiscal year 2009 budget. One of the big questions about the continuing resolution is the extent to which it's what's called a clean CR. A continuing resolution, a sort of classic continuing resolution, just says, all of you agencies out there, you have budgets for fiscal year 2008. When we pass a continuing resolution, you just continue to do the things that you're already doing in 2008. You don't do anything new. But sometimes there are new things that sneak into continuing resolutions, sometimes for good reasons. Maybe you're the Department of Veterans Affairs and there's a lot more people coming back with injuries from the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan, and if you just continue what you're already doing, you really don't have enough money to finance that. But once you open it up, then everybody wants to explain how, what they do, it should be the exception to this sort of general rule. And one of the things that can cause conflict between the Congress and the White House, even over a continuing resolution, is the extent to which the Congress tries to put a lot more stuff in there that is not just a continuation of current policy.